Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope that you have had the most amazing week. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Toy. Welcome back from a little bit of an unplanned hiatus. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you need to take a break, but then you don't take one, then life will happen and will push you to that break? Welcome back. That was my life. I am back with another episode of podcasts. This is Toy of Conversations with Toy. I'm a podcaster. Let me see, what other hats do I wear? Content creator, blogger. I do a lot. Plus, I'm also a wife and a mom of 3. I took a very much unplanned hiatus from the podcast. Let me tell you how it all went down. You waiting for it? Life just happened. Simple as that. Yeah, life was happening. And every week that I was like, okay, you need to record. I was like, you know what? I don't feel it in my spirit. The last time we left, Diddy was out here doing the diddler thing. And he's still out here doing more because more and more we keep hearing more stories of him messing with a 10-year-old and this and that. All alleged. Because he hasn't been found guilty of anything as of yet. However, what I want to say is that for me, this little unplanned hiatus was absolutely everything I could have thought and more. So I was going to come and make this beautiful apology about, thank you for blah, blah, blah. But the honesty is I'm not going to apologize. I know that sounds mean. Does it sound mean-spirited to you? Possibly. But here's why I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing for taking the break that obviously my body, mind, and my spirit needed. I am not the type of person that wants to give anybody bad quality. And so if I feel like my heart's not 100% in it, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. I'm not going to be performative. I'm not going to do it. So shout out to those who know their limitations. And then you actually live in those limitations. I was living in those limitations. I know that I can do but so much in any given time, any given period, but I was trying to subconsciously find a way to push. This pushing this culture that we provided ourselves where we feel like we have to do everything is trash. It's literally trash. But now that I am back, we are going to be talking about quite a few things. First of all, it is November the 1st. It is the beginning of a whole nother month. A new month, which means that we have about one more month until the end of the year. We are about to roll up on Thanksgiving. We barely opened up all of our candy from Halloween yesterday. We're rolling into November, which means we have about 20-something days until Thanksgiving, and then Christmas will just basically blink and it's here. I don't know how the beginning of the year was for you, but I felt like the beginning of the year was quite slow. Whatever the slowness was that we dealt with the beginning of the year, we're not there now. We are full speed ahead into the fullest of holiday content. With that being said, obviously, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am a blogger as well at Toytime, TOITIME.org. So you're fully aware that I do a lot of content. I do a lot of things, but I say all that to say, because we are dealing with a new month, there has been and will be continued changes to the way that my content is done, to the way that the blog is done, to the way that the podcast is done. Anything that I touch, I'm switching it up. Not for nothing, but I just came back from a brand trip a couple weeks ago in Atlanta, and the tools, the vitality that I learned while there is literally everything and more that I could have ever imagined. First of all, they flew your girl out. They definitely did. They did their big one and had me there. When I tell you, anyone who's been following me for a while knows that I deal with some level of anxiety. And I went into the situation being completely optimistic. Like, let's not say it's going to be bad. Let's go in with, open eyes, all these things. When I got there, I was there about maybe a few hours before most people, because I was there about in the morning, and I think our first activity wasn't until that night. So I decided I'm going to eat. I'm going to take a little quickity nap, and then I said I was going to watch a little bit of Netflix, just like kind of relax. Because for me, travel is beautiful. I love to travel, but I also get a level of anxiety with going on planes and just different levels. But what I will say is, upon this retreat, which was in Atlanta, shout out to Atlanta, Georgia. Y'all definitely did your big one there. I don't think there was anything that I ate that was horribly bad. I don't think there was anything that I did that I was just like, we could do something better. The only reason why I'm saying that's because they just sent this email to like kind of critique it. But I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to dig deep and figure out what it is that I can say. What I will say for me as a personal walk away from just having certain steps already put into place before even leaving is key. It's something about it. So leaving Atlanta has allowed me to really focus my goals on what it is that I want to focus on, and not just goal setting, like having real life tangible things that I am working towards. And that feels like $1 million. I mean, the entire trip was about, collaborative efforts, and we learned from some industry experts that allowed me to, one, change my host. I am no longer with Bluehost. I'm with Big Scoots. It allowed me to, get myself together, to get my newsletter together. I'm really focused on what is it going to take for me to do the things that need to be done. And so upon leaving there, I've already put things into place, and I've got one more big thing to do. And then I feel like I'm going to be accomplished just within those first 2 weeks. Now, let's not mistake that this accomplishment means that I'm done. This accomplishment means that everything is good. I don't have anything else to do. No. Yes, I still have things to do. I still have things to work on. I still have things I need to gather. But the point of this is that it is allowed me to move in a better way. All this time that I've been moving in the best way that I knew how. And of course, the more you'll become better. And I just think that is the focus. Plus, ATL is one of my favorite places to go, one of my favorite places to visit. The only thing that I don't like about Atlanta, and I'm sure even most people who have traveled to Atlanta don't like the same thing, y'all's airport is huge. And I do not like that airplane train. I don't like the train. I mean, I was fighting for my life when I was on my way into Atlanta. There was no real places to hold your hand on stuff. It was tight. It was a lot of people. And I was like, Lord, please don't let me fall in front of these people. Outside of that, Atlanta is my spot. Atlanta has great food. Atlanta has, of course, a great social scene. Atlanta is blackity black. Atlanta is soulful. Atlanta, it feels like home. But that train, y'all can take that train, because me and that train, we don't go together. We don't go together at all. Today is, again, November the 1st, the start of the hugest holiday season, going from Thanksgiving into Christmas into New Year's. I tell you, by the time you blink, the year will be over. I just want to preface that. A few things, a little church announcements. We do know that on Tuesday, November the 5th, is the presidential election. There's also other people on the ballot, especially here in Pennsylvania, like the Attorney General, senators, representatives, senator, auditor, and the treasurer. So please make sure that you pay attention to all of the people that are on the ballot and make sure you do your part. I know you're sick of the text messages. I've worked with some of the Kamala team, their social media team, and even I'm tired. Yes, I'm tired of the text messaging. I am tired of the messaging. I have not listened to the radio. I think I listened to the radio one time this week because I had taken my younger 2 kids to school, which I don't normally do. And I listened to the radio. And of course, on the radio, all you heard was political ads. I have been listening to some title the entire time these last few months because I don't want to hear that when I get in my car. I need a break. I need space. So a lot of people have been saying to me, those who are in Philadelphia specifically, because Pennsylvania is a swing state, and Philadelphia is just like all eyes on Philly. And a lot of my content creator friends have been getting invited to so many different events, and I've gotten the same invites. Let me be clear. I've gotten the same invites. The reason why I come and I pick and choose is because I pick and choose according to one, desire. I pick and choose according to schedule. I pick and choose according to the fact that, hey, let's be real. I can't be everywhere all the time. And sometimes I just need a break. So for my personal mental health and self-care, I've been doing the things that resonate with me. Because when all this is over, there's going to be plenty of people who don't know what to do with themselves if they're not posting political content, if they're not posting celebrities, and if they're not posting things that's going to get them, this notoriety that they're looking for, the numbers, the people looking at them and making them the face of the party and making them the face of all the things. That's not my thing. You know what I'm concerned about? I'm concerned about the actual election. And so that's the focus that I tend to focus on. So kudos to those who have taken their whole personality and made it the election. That is not my thing. I'm a political science major. I love politics. I've studied it my entire college career. I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. And I just don't feel the need to make it my personality. But I am going to say that since we are coming into the Thanksgiving season, because we're coming into the Christmas season, because we're coming into the heavy season, I do want to talk about mental health in the comparison to holidays and how your mental health can deviate because of the holidays. Let me give you a few scenarios. First of all, not everybody has the crunchy, lovely family that they can, go to a holiday dinner with without the family members saying things like, girl, you ain't got no husband yet, or you ain't had no kids. You're getting eggs, you're getting older. Your eggs is going to be like scrambled by the time you go to have a child. I just wanted some turkey. You couldn't just pass the turkey. You had to pass turkey with sarcasm. You had to pass the turkey with foolishness. You had to pass the turkey with judgment, right? And the sad part is, if you clap back at some of these aunties, and it's usually the aunties, the grandmoms too, but it's usually the aunties. If you clap back at some of them, if you clap back at some of these older cousins, if you clap back at these uncles, if you clap back at grandma and them, then you're the one that's wrong, right? Because they can say all the disrespectful things. They can cross boundaries. And let me just put this out there. Just because someone is family to you does not mean they owe you their uterus. They don't owe you to tell them when they're going to have a child. They don't owe you any of these things. So let me be very clear about that, because sometimes I feel like we forget that. We forget that our bodies are our own. We forget the fact that we owe no one an explanation, and we forget that we are simply supposed to just come and live. And because people are assuming that we are supposed to somehow give them an explanation for every step that we take, like Bobby Brown, every little step I take, we got to tell them. This is when the arguments and clapbacks even start. First of all, have we not learned so many multiple lessons? You never ask a woman if she's pregnant unless she chooses to tell you that information, because she could be just heavier. She could be fighting her own battles. She could have just had a DNC because she lost a baby. You don't know what people's struggles are. So we got to keep reminding people to stop asking people for that. Stop asking people for that. Also, I am about respect. I am about giving elders their utmost respect. Here's where we have respecting and using the title and the information of your title to try to get away with saying ignorant things and then not wanting anybody to say anything is, we be doing too much. I had an aunt that made a comment about the color, like the darkness of one of my kids. Now, everybody in my family is brown. She has this light skin, dark skin thing. So one of my kids is dark. Well, my kids are brown. One of them are brown. One of them are a little darker. My husband's darker. And she's like, oh, whose dark baby is this? I looked at her. I said, those are my children, and there's nothing wrong with them. And she's like, oh, girl, you done married that dark man. Da, da, da. She just kept going off the deep end. So I listened, looked at her, tried to, politely correct her, because you can't correct. So politely correct her, politely check her, and tried to go the respectful route. Well, she kept at it. So I just packed up my little sweeties, my little babies, and my husband, and we rode. So as I'm leaving, people are saying things like, oh, that's just how she is. Listen, that excuse of that's just how someone is, that's just how I am, has never resonated with me. Never, ever has resonated with me, because sometimes we live in that's just how they are, this is how it is, to continue to cause conflict. We continue to cause issues, to continue to be dreadful. Okay? To be dreadful. I don't accept it. So no, I looked at the aunts that were trying to tell me, well, that aunt that's just how they are. I said, well, that's how they are with you because you allow it. I don't allow my kids to be in spaces where they can hear things that are detriment to them. Now they're going to hear things that's going to be raggedy. People talk raggedy and reckless every single day. They talk raggedy and reckless at their school. But when it comes to people saying things that could be
hurtful and unnecessary, and I have the power to leave, why would I continue sitting in there and allow my kids to hear that their darkness is somehow a problem from a black woman? Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Like, if I was they go to a majority white school, I've already had to talk to them about the things that they may hear or see. And then I will go to that school and I have no problem checking a teacher or anybody else, because I tell them, you don't do it, let me handle it. I can do it way better than you. And they do, and I do. But to hear that from one, supposed to be a safe space with family, to number two, hear it from a black woman who's stuck on colorism from the 50s and the 40s, to continue hearing that, and then for me as a parent to act like I didn't hear it and then continue to let my kids hear that, now what type of mother would I be? Because it's going to be my kids sitting on a therapist table talking about, my mom didn't protect me. She allowed that person to say that. I remember it. Not on my watch. If they're going to talk about it, they're going to say, I remember my family member saying that, but also remember my mama saying, pack it up and let's go. She did not let me sit in that space. She didn't let them people spew their hate, their disdain over me. She didn't allow that to happen. That's what they're going to be able to say. Because you know what? That's actually what happened. So no, I didn't stay there. So no, I didn't say, oh, that's just how they are, so this is how it's supposed to be, and we just get up and go. I need family to understand that that is not how this is supposed to work. And do you know how many times people get drained of knowing if they go to a family dinner for Thanksgiving just to get a piece of turkey, that they got to hear every type of disdain? And you know what's amazing to me too? I'm just going to go ahead and say this, because who's going to beat me? At the end of the day, it's always the raggedy aunts who done did they dirt. And I mean, sure enough, did they dirt. Then all of a sudden, they become pictures of saints, and they want to tell you about your life, but still sitting there with their husband who don't even like them, wondering about when I'm going to get married. You ain't even the picture girl for marriage, a healthy marriage at that, but you're asking me, when am I going to get married? You don't even treat your children right, but asking me, when am I going to have them? Because here's the thing. I remember when I had my first one. I wasn't married. I wasn't married for my first two. And so then I had the second one. They were like, girl, you better slow down. You having them babies and you're not even married. We had gotten married with my second one. He wasn't even a year old. So then we get married, which we'd already planned to get married. Let's be clear. I'd already was engaged after I had my daughter. So we got engaged not even 9 months after she was born. We set the date for our marriage. We ended up getting married earlier. So our son comes before we got married. So our son comes, we go and we get married. Then it was like, when you going to have a married, you married now, y'all's married now, when y'all going to have another one. So then 2 years after that, we have another one. Then I had already decided that I was going to shut the doors of the church down in this womb of mine. I decided to get my tubes tied, which was my personal business. Never needed to share it, not even with y'all. Didn't have to share it with them. Didn't have to share it with anybody. And they're like, girl, when you going to have another one? Girl, when you going to have another one? When you going to have another one? At 3, what do I need with another one? I said to myself, some of these folks can't even take care of the kids that they got, and some of these kids is grown and they can't take care of them. Why are you pushing me having another child on me? Why would you do that? But that's what happens. A lot of people put themselves and insert their personal issues in, and then tell you, well, when you going to do this? When you going to do that? When you going to do it? See, if we was at the table on the clapback and that clapback was just as strong and just as hard and just as good, we would stop a lot of these clapbacks. But do you know what people are doing instead of clapping back? They are healing like I did and went through my healing journey with therapy and different things and separating from my family so I can come back and at least deal with them now. People are doing that, but you know what they're also doing? They're either cooking at their own house, hanging with their family or friends that they actually like, or they're staying at home, cooking their own meal and enjoying the fact that they can eat without people criticizing them, that they can eat without somebody coming for their neck, that they can eat without people doing all these different things to them, because people think that when they do these things that it's just supposed to happen. What is the problem? The problem is that you got to be able to just pass the turkey and the gravy without the issues. Didn't nobody ask for gravy and criticism today? We didn't ask for that. Nobody asked for that. Okay? So again, we are coming to the social time of the year, and we're going to have to talk about a few things that happen in the social time of the year. Here's another thing that a lot of people are not doing. I can't come to everybody's house for everybody's Christmas party. Okay, I just can't. It gets expensive. You say, well, you're just bringing a meal. Meals and food are expensive. So if every time I come to your house, I got to bring a welcome gift. So I got to bring a hostess gift. So I bring you a bottle of wine. If you don't drink, I find you an alternative. Or I leave you maybe a gift for your kids or something as a hostess gift. So I'm bringing a hostess gift, and then I got to make a meal. I went to a party last week. I had to hurry up and jumble up and make peach cobbler because I was like, I can't come in there empty-handed, so let me go ahead and whip this peach cobbler. So I whipped this peach cobbler up. We went over there to this party. That was just a sign for me. I got to get ready to whip up a bunch of stuff because if I'm going to people's houses, I got 5 people coming to my family from my family. 9 times out of 10, I go very not much 5 people. It's rare that we get invited as a family. A lot of times it's like me hanging out with my girlfriends and we all get together, or my husband hanging out with some of his friends. They ain't cooking, so they'll just go grab something to eat, whatever the case may be. But these things become expensive. So when people say, I'm sorry they can't come, stop taking it personal. Sometimes it's just financially not in the pockets. I could never show up in somebody's house with a family of 5. Now, my husband and my son could eat anything and everything up. They could eat everybody out. I can't bring them 2 people with me and then don't bring, but bring in some juice or just bring a bottle. Like, no, I usually bring a bottle. I will usually ask, do you want me to make a side? Do you want me to bring a main dish? Like, I'm bringing several things, especially when my entire family comes, because I'm bringing an entire tribe of people. And they never say, girl, no. I'll be like, thank you. And I will bring my things. I always leave 3 things. If it's nothing but a dessert, a bottle to share, and then a bottle to leave with the host, and then an actual dish, because I got 5 people squad deep. I'm coming in with a whole team of people, and we only going to be able to no, we can't eat, or we're just going to eat. No, I'm bringing a tribe. I got to bring a tribe of things with me. So those things add up. So no, people can't come to your Christmas shindig every year. We just can't do it. I prioritize which ones I'm going to go to according to the level of relationship. I know some people are hearing this and saying, that's why you didn't come to my stuff, baby. That's why I didn't come to your stuff. Yeah. I didn't come because the level of priority of the relationship. Also, holidays means expenses. I pride myself in taking care of Christmas by myself. I do all of my family, meaning those who live in my house, and my extended family. So my nieces, my parents, my siblings, whomever. That's what I do. So I'm going to be on my budget and watching that budget hella tight. Now, that doesn't mean that my husband can't participate. It doesn't mean that he can't do certain things, but that's his 1 month that I give him every year for the last couple of years for him to just kind of relax, because he does a lot. He does his part of whatever he pays. I do my part of whatever I pay. And then I give him that break every Christmas for the December month. That is his break. And so I take a lot of the expenses and I take them and do them myself. So because I do that, my budget, the way I budget, my budgeting is going to be tight. I'm watching every penny that comes in and out. And yes, I have multiple sources of income. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't. It's a blessing to say that I do. But even with multiple sources of income doesn't mean I need to give all of my income away to dinners. Okay? So people can't afford sometimes to sit at the table of people because they feel obligated and they should be bringing something. Nobody should be coming to anybody's house empty-handed. I don't even go to my own parents' house empty-handed. A lot of times I will take stuff because that's just the way that it works. When we get together for a Christmas, we all decide who's bringing what. Now, there's been years where my parents have said, okay, don't worry about it. And they've done a lot of the cooking. But me being me, I always, every single time, I bring multiple things to drink because I am the mixologist of our little group. I am good at what I do. So I bring and I buy all the liquor. I do all the mixing. I make everybody their little drinks that they requested. And I bring a dessert, which I usually hand make. So I usually make some type of homemade dessert, usually a cake or something. And I bring all the liquor. It's just the flow. But there has been times when they've been like, okay, well, can you bring this and make that? And guess what? I bring the same desserts. I bring the same amount of liquor, and then I add whatever it is that they're asking me to make. For instance, we're getting together for Christmas. I'm doing the turkey, I think the sweet potatoes, and something else. I probably still will make a dessert, and I'm still bringing the liquor. So I'm bringing multiple things, but I also am bringing a tribe of people with me. Okay? The holidays are hard. They're already hard. Like, holidays are hard. You know, if you are a single person, you don't have a family like I have, or you don't desire to have that type of family, but everybody's looking at you because why don't you? You're the oddball out. So it's like sometimes it's just hard because you got to talk in spaces where everybody's talking about their husband, everybody's talking about their wife, everybody's talking about their kids, and you're sitting there like, I just got a job and a dog. Let me just tell you something. be very proud of that job, and be very proud of that dog, and be proud of the things that you have, because it's amazing when you're single, you feel like you can't do things by yourself. Like, I can't do things by myself. I don't want to go out to dinner by myself. It looks weird. I don't want to, go to the movies by myself. It just looks desperate. I don't want to go this by myself because it looks crazy. But then when you get married, you sign up. Your hands go up. You're like, hey, somebody want to go by myself? I'll go. I choose me. I'll go. I am actually here in Peddler's Village. I am being hosted here. And it's amazing that I'm just waking up and being hosted somewhere. And in the midst of that, eating by myself, you would have been a problem. I sat at that table proud and happy for quiet. I sat at that table proud and happy for peace. I sat at that table proud of the accomplishments that I had made, because it's November 1st. It's also my 10th anniversary of me starting this blog 10 years ago. 10 years ago, saying yes to myself, and of course I'm going to do all the things, and I'm going to take this journey, I'm going to write, and I did it because for the love of writing. And of course I've gone back and said, girl, what was you thinking? This stuff don't make no sense. You need to get this stuff and clean it up, which is most of it's been cleaned up, about 90% of it. But I say that to say that when I was asked to sit, they were like, did you want to sit at the bar? Everybody wants to put a single person at the bar, and everybody that's single don't want to go to the bar. And what I mean by single, it doesn't mean that you don't have anybody, but just the one person coming into a restaurant. And she's like, do you want to sit at the bar? And I'm like, absolutely not. I would love to sit at the table. So they found the table that they allowed me to choose. Praise the Lord, because I was like, please don't just throw me somewhere in the corner somewhere. Let me be where I want to be. So there was this beautiful window that you can look out and see the hotel that I'm staying at. And I chose that seat because, again, I like windows. I like looking out. I like to look at a little bit of people watching. Now, it was kind of dark when I first got here, but you can still see the people walking. So I'm sitting at the table, and the people are walking by. I get to see them, and I'm just enjoying my glass of wine, and I'm enjoying the views, and I'm eating my food, and they're spacing it out perfectly. They did a great job spacing out my food perfectly. And so while I'm sitting there, they spaced out my food. I'm enjoying everything. And I don't know, I felt kind of big back because, I tore that food up. Everything. I had the soup, I had some dumplings, I had salmon, and I had a dessert. I ate it all. I'm pretty shocked because sometimes I'll eat stuff and I'll kind of like just try it, but I'd also made room. I didn't eat lunch just to make sure I could eat. But the point of this is that when you're married, it's easy for you to sign up for things that are single things because you just want to get away from your family. I love my family immensely. And anybody that knows how I mom, I am one of those moms that's like a mom's mom. Like, I'm the Pinterest mom. I'm going to find things. If the kid said he needs something, I'm going to be on it. There's nothing that they've ever needed for school where I'm like, oh, I didn't grab it. I didn't get it. None of that. Like, I am that mom. They say they need something, I'm there. My kids can call me and tell me about anything. I'm going to listen. I'm the type of mom that, again, like once we're in the house, even when we do celebrations of our own, for instance, we usually have our own Thanksgiving. We don't usually have people over. It's just us. But you would think it was a whole production because the way that I'm going to make sure that, and I do this every year, there's going to be plenty of good food to eat. The adults are going to have their cocktails. The kids are going to have their mocktails. You decorate the tree. Like, we do a whole lot. I am that mom. But when it comes to signing up for stuff that's by myself, sign me up, Scotty. Beam me up. Beam me up. Why? Because, again, you long for the times when you were by yourself and you didn't have anybody to, think about, or you didn't have anybody to worry about. You didn't have a laundry list of things to do. You didn't have laundry to balance. You didn't have this person to cook for. Like, when I went to that Atlanta trip, I made about 6 meals. And I was only going to be gone for like 2 or 3 days. I made 6 meals. One, because I already know how I work and how I travel. When I come back from traveling, the worst thing I want to have to do is rush home to make food. So I made enough food to last for that week so that when I got home, I wouldn't have to cook. And it lasted. Like, I did my big one. But in order to do that big one, I didn't go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning. Funny story. While in Atlanta, I was so exhausted because the night before we had gotten my daughter, my oldest, together for homecoming. She looked absolutely stunning. So for those who saw the photos or the videos or whatever you may have saw, she was stunning. Okay. We got her together for homecoming so much that she has been stressing me out. Now, again, I said I'm that mom, right? I go get all the things. Well, homecoming week is a lot because they have different themes for different days. And I made sure every day that she had a theme. Whatever she sent me all her Amazon list, whatever it was that she had, I made sure she had it. Okay. And so we had been homecoming it up for the week, getting her together for each theme, doing all the things. So then the big main event comes and I'm getting her together. I never even packed for my trip. Now, anybody who knows me knows I pack usually a week or 2 weeks ahead. I didn't even have a chance to pack because I was focused on her. I get her to the homecoming. I come home immediately while she's at the homecoming, doing homecoming dances and doing her thing. And now I'm cooking and prepping all this food. So then I have to stop prepping the food and cooking some of the food to go back and get her. So I go back, I go get her, I bring her home, and then I go right back to finishing this food. By the time I had finished all this food and cooked all this stuff, I promise you not, it was about 1 a.m. That's when I started to pack. So then I'm packing my stuff. I pack my stuff, I get my shower, I get my things completely together. So if I had to just get up and walk out the door, I could. I get into bed, set 2, 3 alarms because my flight is at 7 a.m, which means I got to be at the airport by 5. Okay. I just told you I started packing my things at 1. I probably got about 2 hours of sleep. So I get on my plane, the plane leaves, it starts boarding at 6:30, we leave on time, we get to Atlanta about 9. So I get off the plane, I get my bags, they checked at the gate. I then go, get in my Uber, get to the hotel. Now, I get to the hotel before 10, thinking to myself, there's no way they're going to have a room ready because normally check-in is about 4 o'clock. Nope, they had a room ready, praise the Lord. I get into my room, I do my tour, do some filming. I'm like, okay, wrap this up. I go lay down. I lay down, I lied to you not, it was an hour. I wake up because in my dream, I'm sleeping, and in my dream, I have this dream that I have missed my flight. So I jump up in real life, but I'm still dreaming. And I start screaming to the top of my lungs. But the sound of my scream wakes me up, and I'm like, girl, get your behind up. I look around, I don't recognize where I'm at, and I'm like, wait. You didn't miss your flight. You're already here. Calm yourself down. Then too, I thought, they're going to call the police on me because they're going to think somebody is in there doing. When I tell you I was screaming to the top of my lungs, I mean every bit of scream. So then I got frustrated because I was like, wait a minute. Now I'm in here screaming. Somebody could be killing me. But do I get more mad at myself for screaming or the fact that nobody knocked on my door to check on me? I don't know. But either way, that's when I knew at that point that I need to get out of my clothes, get in the shower, put on some pajamas, and get back in the bed because we weren't meeting up until like 7 o'clock that night. So it was time for me to go back to bed, and that's what I did. That's when people who are married desire that quietness of their life, to be able to get up and leave and do the things that resonate with them. When you're single, I know how hard it is because you want to be coupled up. I remember the days when I was single. I know it's been a long time, but I do remember them, and I remember holidays. Like I remember I was in my one apartment. I had a 2-bedroom apartment. This is when I was in Lancaster. I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and originally it was me by myself, or my twin might have been there, and this might have been before she moved out. But I would decorate my house just like I do now. Like I started those traditions early because I was like, I don't need to wait until I'm with someone to do these things. Like I don't have to wait until I get a family to start doing those decorating. So I decorated my apartment just as snazzy as I do now, as I do my house, because it was important for me to establish certain things. So if you're single and you're listening to this, I get it. It's like, what's the point? What is the drama? Like, I don't want to go through all that. But if you like for the home to be decorated or to smell like a certain certain thing, or you like the presence of certain things, don't wait until you get a family to do it. Like, do it now. Decorate. Do the things. You can have something that's low key, but you can still do the things. And I did that when I was single. I used to say, I'm going to start my tradition now. I told myself. I used to tell other friends. They were like, girl, I ain't decorating my house, girl. I ain't got no husband or no kids. I'm not going to worry about that. And so I'm not going to do it. That's you. Personally, me, I started that when I was about 20-something years old. I started doing that right then. I started learning how to go to restaurants by myself. as a single person. So now, of course, I desire to go back and do those things because those things were fun to me. And I get it. Everybody is shy. If you have anxiety like I have it, which is weird because even in my anxiety, I was like, I got to figure out how to do this. I don't want to be the person that waits. Do you know how many times as a married person, because most of my friends, a lot of my friends, won't say most, but a lot of my friends are married or have kids, we can't always get together. And then it's like my likes are not my same as my husband's because, we're two individual people, right? And so if I say, hey, I want to go try this restaurant, it's not something on his list. Do you know how much a husband will hem and haw before you even get to that restaurant? Do you know how many times a wife may hem and haw before they go and try something different? No. I have been committed to doing the things that I like and the things that resonate with me, even if I got to do them by myself, because of the fact that I don't want to wait. I'm going to wait until. Do you know how many times people have said until? Do you know how many times people have said until? I know people who have passed away, and I remember specifically the person that I'm thinking in mind who had passed away. And I remember her specifically saying she was going to do this and do that. She never got a chance to do those things. Never got a chance. And they weren't major things. They were small things. And she never got a chance to do it. Don't wait and for the wait until. I hate that wait until. I'm going to wait until I get a certain amount of money. When I get a certain amount of money, then I'm going to try my hand at this. When I get a certain amount of money, then I'm going to try to go here and go there. Yeah, you do need money to go places, 100%. Start saving that money and then start booking. Here's the best way to save. Start saving it, but then start booking it. I bet you if you book it, if you got common sense, you'll be serious about putting that money aside. Because you know how we say, oh, I'm going to save for blah, 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 right? We're going to save for this. And then we play games. Well, I need this for this. I just want to go to Starbucks. I want to go to Target and I want to do all these things. Start saving some money and put a little bit of money aside and then book your trip. Book it about 6 months out. I bet you the spirit of saving will be strong on your life because there's no way I would ever go on vacation without the right amount of money. So when it's time to start booking for something, you just book it. My husband had been saying for years he wanted to go to Disney World. Is it Disneyland, Disney World? Disney World. And every year it was just like something was always coming up. So then one time he was like, you know what? We're just going to book it. He called and thank God we got a hold of a Disney planner. And she guided us through and we got all the things done. And so once he booked it, it was on like popcorn. We both started doing, let's put some money aside. So I started putting my money aside. My money was more focused on like in Disney so we could do all the things. Let me just tell you how I like to go on vacation. In case you ever have any thought. When I go on vacation, I don't want to have a spirit of no. What does that mean? If there's something I want to do, I want to do it. And yes, even with a family of 5, I want to do it. I want to get that VIP line and get in that line so we can go quick and get all the things. I want to do it. And my husband made sure we did. I didn't want to stop. If I want a cocktail, I want a cocktail. And listen, when I'm on vacation, cocktails is always on the menu for me. It may not be for you. That's fine. But for me, I'm a foodie. I literally also include doing food in the things that I do in my blog and on my content. So as a foodie, as a resident foodie, I don't ever want to be like, oh, I can't get that dessert. And I want my family to be able to feel like if they want something, they should be able to have it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save my money. I'm going to save my dollar dues. I'm going to increase those campaigns. I'm going to put that money to the side. And that's exactly what happened. He booked it. We set that date. Everybody got their time off and did what they needed to do. It was on. Money was put to the side, put it to the side, and we're not touching it. Yes, there was emergencies that actually came up, as always life does. But we were able to take care of those emergencies and still continue our savings. By the time we went to Disney World, there was nothing we couldn't do. There was nothing that we could not do. Nothing. And I know the privilege of being able to say you went to Disney World, the privilege of being able to say you did these things are privileges. But the point of it is that stop letting your I'm going to wait until. The I'm going to wait until is a blessing if you're using it as a goal setting. But some of us write down our goals for goal setting and we do nothing to put the fire behind that goal. We set the goal. We say this time next year, I want to be at this place. But you forget in goal setting, you can't just write the goal down. You have to write the steps that you are going to take to also get to that goal. I think a lot of people miss that. They write their goals down like they're writing a grocery list. And they write it down and they write it down and they write it down. You wrote it down. You have a vision. You have something in your thoughts, but you have no instructions. You have no direction. You don't have any choice, no chance, no steps. How are you going to complete that goal? How are you going to get there? It's not enough to write down you want to be, let's say, in a new house by next year. Okay? Did you go and meet with a financial planner? Have you sat down and worked with a first-time buyer program? Have you worked with the homeowners association or somebody that's going to help you to figure out what are the steps you're going to need to buy your home? What do you need to put away? How much you need to do? Because when you start buying a home, you can't be out here buying big expenses, because everything that you do is going to be on a pedestal. And they look at all the things for these loans. Have you pre-qualified for one? Have you figured out what area you want to live in? Have you dwindled down your choices? Do you know what your budget is? Because it's a lot of money to buy a house in a certain set, because even if you're a first-time homeowner and they have these different programs, you do know at some point you're going to want to furnish that home. So now you want to furnish the home, you want to target your home, you want to go Etsy your home, you want to go, do all these things and put all these beautiful things in your home. And let me just say, I just encourage you to do it little by little, but nonetheless, you're going to want to do it, right? Have you put all these things into action steps? What are your action steps towards this I eventually want to do? Because some of us set these goals last year, at the beginning of this year, I should say, for the New Year's Day. But a lot of the goals didn't accomplish because you didn't write down the steps to make them happen. Again, your goals are not a grocery list. It's not a to-do list. It's a focus list. And on a focus list, you have to write the goal down, then you have to write the steps. I know, somebody told you just to write your goals down like it was a wish list. It's not. In order to complete those goals, it's a part of what are you going to do to make it happen, because you do realize that any goal that you set is an action steps from you. So what are you going to do to make it happen? Okay? I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be back to be able to use my voice once more to encourage, to let you know that I know the holiday season is the hardest time. I was reading a story about a young lady who jumped over, I think it was Niagara Falls, over the safety gate with her 9-year-old and her 5-month-old. And then allegedly some of the stories that led up to that was that she had put some things like on social media about basically the child's father. I don't know if the father is the same for both, but the child's father, I'm assuming the youngest, who had rejected her, didn't want her, and all those different things. I'm going to talk about this because it was led on my heart. My cousin had made the post. I saw the post somewhere else because I actually posted it myself, and I posted it on my blog page, Toy Time Blog on Facebook. And then I saw my cousin then reposted, or not reposted, but she posted the story as well. So in the comment section, I said, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but you have to understand she had a 5-month-old baby. Let me just tell you how real postpartum depression is. And there will be people that say, well, her depression ain't enough to just make her kill her babies. Baby, unless you have struggled with postpartum depression, I'm going to need you to sit this one out. Let those who have been through this, let me just take my hand and try my hand at this. Somebody who's been through this. Postpartum depression can also turn into postpartum psychosis. Psychosis is that which you don't have the control over your mind. The way that your mind thinks in the middle of a postpartum psychosis, it'll make you think about the things that are the most extreme. Things you probably would never do in real life if your mind was settled. If you weren't going through all these different emotional pools, if you didn't have all these things happening, I promise you a lot of the things that happen in postpartum psychosis you would never do in real life. Matter of fact, I know it for a fact. You know how I know? Do you want to know how I know? Because I dealt with it. I had postpartum psychosis. Thankfully, because of the system of people that were around me, I didn't desire to hurt my kids, or I didn't attempt. But what I will say is, it's a real thing. It is. It's a real thing. And it will take you. It will take you out. It drains your body. I was seeing me do things and say things that I could see it happening. Like I said, it was as if I was standing outside of my body watching myself do it, even though I was the one doing it. This is why I say to people, you don't know what people's stories are. When I was going through my postpartum psychosis, I actually went to the people in my family and was like, hey, I can't explain how I'm feeling about this, but this is what's going on. You know what everybody said? Girl, you just tired. So when the baby sleep, you should go to sleep. Let me just say I got a lot of sleep, but not a lot of resolution. Oh, I went to sleep. Oh, I got my rest. I got my rest to get my behind right back up and try it again and act a fool again and do it again and be the most again. And the people that sat around who was in my intimate circle, I mean, the people who could see me every single day, you know what they did? Just talked about me. Child, this girl is doing this. She going crazy. She's saying this and then. Nobody thought to say, she probably needs some help. Nobody thought that. You know, it's amazing how doctors will tell you to speak to the people around you and tell them what you're going through. But if the people that are around you aren't educated on the things that could happen to a pregnant woman when she's had a baby and her body is still healing and going through her journey, what type of help is the community around you if the community don't know that postpartum psychosis is real? When I began to look at some of the comments in that section, I thought to myself, these are the people who don't understand this actually is a real thing, and it is debilitating. Because again, you see yourself doing something that you would never do. Unfortunately for her and her babies, they are no longer here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up as I end this episode on our welcome back is because of the simple fact that, one, life is hard. And people are experiencing loss in ways that you couldn't imagine, not just the loss of people, but loss of jobs, loss of income, loss of resources. There are people that are losing the connection of certain family members and they can't deal. And then if you have, God forbid, a woman who's going through, listen, your body needs at least a year, if not more, to recover from a baby. This is why I keep telling people, don't go running around here talking about you want to have a baby when you don't know what you want to have a baby, because it's more than just pushing this baby out. It's more than just dressing this baby up and taking cute photos. It's a lot that goes along with it. Your body is going through it. From your hair thinning out, falling out, to your body not looking right, to your mind not being clear. Ask me how I know. Because 10 years ago, I started the blog after dealing with that. If you know, my youngest is 10 years old. I'd already started going through postpartum depression with my son. I'd already started doing that with my son. It was my son who really highlighted this when I was in the hardest of my psychosis. See, when I went through the first time with my first daughter, I kind of feel like I had a touch of it with my first daughter, but my daughter was so sick that I was focused on her health. I didn't tap into myself, okay? And I had a better support system then. When I moved with my husband, we had allegedly support system, but they were not a support system for me. I'm going to be honest with that. I'm going to be real. They were not a support system for me. Everybody was supporting my husband, and that's beautiful, but they were not supporting me because I wasn't their real family. So I'm in someone else's home. I am in someone else's family, and I'm not supported. Okay? Then I have my son. I'm in psychosis. Now, nobody that's in my circle is even vouching for me. Nobody that's in my circle, the circle that I was in. I won't even say my circle. I would say the circle I was in. They weren't vouching for me. They weren't saying, well, that's not like her. She would never do. Nope. Everybody's just like, oh, that's just how she is. For why? That wasn't how I was. That wasn't my baseline at all. So I went through that season by myself. So by the time I got to my third child, I started the blog. But I was already under the understanding that I already knew what to expect. So therefore, my doctor began to put parameters in place because now we knew what I had dealt with. We got a diagnosis because it was after I gotten through, and my son, it might have been about 4 months when I finally got a diagnosis of postpartum psychosis. Finally. And then I began to get medicine to treat it. I also started doing therapy to treat it. And I started getting answers of how to treat it, what to look for in the signs. And then we put a safety plan in place, which I've had that's not the same safety plan, but I have a safety plan for my mental health in place to protect myself, to protect my children, to protect those around me. And it's not because I'm a harm. Let me be clear. I'm not a harm. It's so that I know that if I get to a certain level, that I need to cry out and ask for help, that I need to initiate my plan, that I need to be okay with finishing that plan because I want to make sure I take care of myself. So let's not judge so quickly what we don't understand. Let's not judge the things that we've never been through, because as someone who has gone through it, I'm so grateful for some of the parameters that were put into place, because God knows I would never want to hurt an individual, but I do understand it. It wasn't my suggested end, but I do understand it. That is this week's episode. I hope something landed with you. Again, I know we plan for our goals, we plan for our future, but make sure that in your planning of your goals and your future, you put steps into place. Listen, the holidays is here. You got to make a decision on how many things you're going to participate in. You got to say no to the things that don't serve you. And you got to put into places that you're not going to do certain things because it just doesn't work out for you. And it's okay. Do what you can and let everything else go where it's going to go. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Toy. I know we had a long break. I promise you that I'm not going to apologize, only because when you need a break, you got to learn how to take a break. So in that break, I say welcome back. We will be back every week, and especially during these hard times, because, seasonal depression is going to be hitting some people, maybe already starting hitting you. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the different levels of mental health and things, and we're going to talk about more holiday stuff, because I'm going to be here to support you through the holidays. Okay? I'm sending love to each and every last one of you. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Toy. I am grateful for you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.